Hello, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is Ron Gagosian. How are you? Today's webinar is being recorded and we are on the road. Today's tone today is a bit more chill. What we're going to be talking about today and how we're going to be talking about this is more about a fireside chat. So today's week 5, and we are reversing again and reclaiming your energy. That is the title of week 6. I am really excited to be with you. It has been a real opportunity over the last several weeks. I've heard from so many of you. I've heard from people from around the world about how I am and what is causing me to keep into the kind of work that I'm doing and why I'm doing it and how that's being achieved. So let's jump in today. Please have something to cool to drink or hot tea, whatever you want. Have a notebook ready and available for you, and a comfortable pen that you can write with. I may refer to some notes and that are here on my desk, just keeping it real from my mentors. But I want to be able to speak to you today really about the reverse again and what I mean by that and how you can reclaim your energy. So, really, about 2 years ago, I couldn't tell you what day it was exactly or what month, but I was chasing income and I was burning out and I was sleeping poorly. Outwardly, I was performing, but inwardly, uh, it was really no bueno. And I felt very disconnected. I had come through with uh, just some real heavy, some family issues that really tied me up for about 4.5 years with some legal matters. And we were able to prevail, but all of that just really downed my ability to do what I wanted to do and really created a level of massive discomfort for me and for my family. So here we are, we're sitting together, and this is not a speech. This is really just a fireside chat with you. The energy gap. And so I want to speak today about how to reverse again. It's not about reversing again that you're starting and stopping. And for some of you, that may be something in terms of your own personal health and some of the goals that you have. But I really don't want to focus really on wellness right now. What I want to focus on is your goals and how one becomes distracted and the difference between high performance, high capacity individuals and those that frankly have really a lot of trouble not and they don't reach their goals, and why on a daily basis, and this is really key, why on a daily basis do they start and stop? Maybe some days are good, maybe the next day's not good, or there's something that pops up, and I'm going to give you a real life example of today so we can keep it real. So let's get started. The energy gap. Most people don't really know they're running on fumes on a daily basis. It could be that they're not really eating functional foods, vegetables and fruits, and their quality meats, sourced meats, and lots of good water and whatever supplements they might need. That will include exercise, whether you get up in the morning and all of that. But all of that has to be packaged in a level of consistency. So I brought up what creates high performing leaders that are different, or high capacity individuals, or high income earners from those that are unfocused, those that don't meet their goals, or those, some of us, that don't even set goals. They don't set, we don't possibly set financial goals. We don't set physical goals. We don't set family goals. We don't set going on a vacation, during the summertime, or taking the family away, or saving enough money through our work and producing so that we can have that quality time. It may be actual time itself and how we spend that. It may be that we are up early and we're home late. I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works for you, but at this particular point, what I really want to drive down on, and I want to get that piled driver to go down deep into how and actually what you're feeling. So, in terms of your energy levels, most people, again, they don't really know that they're running on fumes until they crash. It could be they can't complete tasks. It may be you're falling asleep at work. It may be you can't really perform at the level that you want. And how about high performers or high capacity individuals? They make it happen. And it's not that they snap their fingers, they have developed a level of consistency that drives them to perform every day. And this webinar is not about how to set your schedule first thing in the morning, whether it's getting up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning or 6 or 6:30 or whatever that early morning sweet spot is for you based on your schedule and your lifestyle. I'm not going to be speaking about that today, but again, it's what separates us as high performing, high capacity, high income earners from those that become distracted and not attaining their goals. And I say it that way on purpose because one achieves and the other doesn't. And that's really the fact. And that's really how this breaks down. And then we're going to be talking about how I've been able to take care of that and what I potentially see for you. So let me adjust my notes just a little bit here for you as if I was reading or had a little card that I had jotted some notes down just to be able to speak with you. So the personal story and the personal testimony from me really began years ago with poor sleep, obstructive sleep, apnea, being overweight, and I really felt like I was fading in my early 40s. I really did. How can this be happening? I mean, I've had a vibrant, healthy life. There were lots of stressors in my life with work and the companies that I had been working for, and I was gaining, the stature and prominence and moving up in what I was doing at the time in financial services and consumer and commercial banking and technology. And I was moving along, but it just wasn't feeling great. And then all of a sudden, giving you a little bit more background, probably about within the last half decade, there were a series of deaths in the family. And one of those deaths produced some pretty major litigation that lasted 4.5 years. 4.5 years of a drain on time, talent, and treasure. Time, talent, and treasure. And why do I tell you this? Because I want to be real with you. I want you to understand that everybody has situations in their life. I'll give you a quick one and I'll get back to the story. I was several days ago trying to, in fact, it was last week, I was trying to have a Zoom call. A utility truck pulls up and the guys get out and they start jackhammering right at that particular point. No notice, no anything. I could have aborted the call or the Zoom that we were doing, but you know what? That wouldn't be of a disservice to the people that I had promised, that we had booked, that we had already in the room. So I actually had to have it somewhat scrubbed in the audio so that it was very faint. You probably can't even hear it, but I had to have it somewhat have it in that audio format where we were scrubbing it a little bit. But nonetheless, the point is that high capacity leaders find a way and don't allow confusion or this, what we like to become, like to live in some misery sometimes, that level of focus to really decline and degrade when we're really under pressure. And how do we be able, and are we able to move through that? So the personal story is there, the litigation story is there, it's part of my life, and I'm not feeling any resentment about it. Was it a loss? The fact of the matter is, I could go on the laws of motion, the laws of reciprocity. I have all of these tools available to me, plus my own faith that and family that friends that rallied around, and we were able to prevail. But 4.5 years. So how did I move on? Well, the alignment, and I saw recovery. I saw recovery in my ability and in my frame. And in my frame of life, I saw that level of recovery to not grind 24/7. I don't know if any of you have ever been in any kind of litigation, but the kind of litigation, the lawyers say, well, we'll call you on Monday and we'll try to keep it till Wednesday and maybe early on Friday. It doesn't work out that way. It's generally 4 to 5 days a week, and it can be hours on end. And, aside from the billable hours, your body is being taxed, your brain is being taxed, everything about your whole life is being taxed. So that really became really, really, really a problem, because to me it was 24/7. Just when you hang up the phone, you're still dealing with it. You're dealing with it at 2 and 3 in the morning. So how did I recover? How did I recover? And what I did is I put myself in front of some masters. I put myself, and we went on a trip, and I went all the way down to New Zealand, and I saw a world renowned health and wellness practitioner. And there was some tests that they provided to me, and they were of a bioresonance, where you hold these metal rods that are connected to an HP laptop with the software inside of it. It's all pretty nifty, and it was able to read through an electronic impulse. You don't feel it, it's low level, but it sends an electronic current into your system, and it's able to read, similar to what you see at these doctors' concierge offices. You'll walk in, and they'll make you hold on to the bar while you're stepping onto the scale, and it'll read your blood pressure. It'll do your pulse. It'll weigh you. It'll do your body mass index, and all of this. It's the same similar type of software that also was conducted here. And I came to find out, the practitioner looked at me and was verifying my chronological age. And at the time, I was 65. And the practitioner said, right now, Ron, you have a biological age of 80 years old. And I was absolutely floored. I was astounded at what I had just been told. So I took a big deep breath, and I'm thousands of miles away from home on the other side of the world, in the land down under, in the Auckland, New Zealand area. And, we still had several weeks left on the vacation at the time, and the time away just to relax and to really regain our mental, emotional, and family footing and unity. And so I went on a path. I had a plan put together, and that path really was about sleep. It was about being positive. It was about recovery. It was about instilling more on a consistent basis excellent quality, functional living foods, taking more and more things out of my diet my eating plan on a daily basis, so daily, weekly, monthly, so I could see that I was putting in more of the good stuff than I was putting in some of the not so good stuff. Uh, and so from that, it was more about water. It was not maybe having as many alcoholic drinks in a week. And it became once every 2 weeks. And over the last several years, it's may become once a month over the course of the last several years, a couple years or so. And now it's maybe a couple every year. So, and again, there's no judgment in that. It's just what I believe at this point in time, in terms of allowing myself to celebrate, and what I actually believe about the product itself. But all of this began the genesis. It really was the beginning. It was the beginning of creating something and creating a level of mental, emotional, physical energy that really began to snowball and really get bigger and bigger and better and better and better in my life. And then shortly about 15 and a half months ago, I received a telephone call from some folks telling us that they had an incredible, just something that they needed to share with us, folks from the East Coast. And we listened, and we were, you know, very, very pleased at what we were hearing because it was fitting our particular mindset and our lifestyle at that time. And so, and I'll go more into that as we really kind of begin to move along here. I will come back to that. And it's really, without surprise, it's about the LifeWave X39 uh, product. And that fits into the wellness aspect. But let's move a little bit more now. As some of you have asked, can you speak about high capacity and distraction and discomfort and how to stay focused, how to focus? Well, let's break this down. The whole aspect about setting goals is really about consistency. And it's really about the level of when you ask yourself, who is this for? Is this for you, or is this not for you? Is this about you as a high capacity leader, or is this and wanting to be, needing to be, and depending on what you have going on? Because you have to be able to understand that life has only so many minutes and it has only so many hours. Your day has so many hours. Your month has so many hours. The quarter, you put 2 quarters together, and guess what? You have a half a year. You put 3 quarters together, and you're sitting at the edge of Halloween or the holiday or All Souls, depending on where you are in the world. And the next thing you know, you are into the traditional holiday time and you're getting ready to celebrate New Year's again. So, how do we pick this all apart and how do we look at this? I specifically work with high capacity individuals who really understand that having additional multiple streams of income is really what they believe in today's world is going to set them apart. I truly believe that. I am fully committed to that. People need multiple streams of income, but you have to find what it is that it is about. It may be that you're in a place where you're trying to figure out what to do in life. You're a young person. It may be you're in your 40s and you've been working now for 18 years. It's you tell yourself when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, I'm going to do this again today. Meh, and out goes the toothpaste and you get in the car and you go to work and you do it again. But you come home and there's just not that feeling of satisfaction. So how do high capacity individuals differentiate that from that scenario that I just brought up with you? Well, they don't. It's as simple as that. They don't live in that. It's not that they don't because they don't want to. It's because they've chosen not to. They've chosen not to live in a world where they feel compromised. They don't believe in well, I can't move on because I had a bad past. They don't believe that, that their past is a predictor of their future. They only believe that possibly failure is just data. Yeah, that was in the past. It doesn't have to affect your present, and it definitely doesn't affect you for the future. So again, they take their level of high capacity leaders, take the consistency, the daily consistency that they do every day. And John Maxwell writes about this. Jay Atkins writes about this in his Success Psyche. John Maxwell talks about it in so many of his books. Consistency. So we're going to have to find something in your life and those things that you can do that will create a new mindset to become more consistent. Now, what happens with daily distraction and moving you from your goals? Let me go back to that example that I set us up with the utility truck coming. I could have chosen to stop the video. And it was at the beginning. I could have just stopped it, and then that was it, and let those people that I had sitting in the waiting room, or there was about one or two people coming in, and all of a sudden this began to happen outside. Well, I can't change it. Those are circumstances that are far beyond my control. I can't go outside and tell them, could you stop jackhammering in the street? How do I know? There might be a gas leak. There might be something electrical that they need to work on. It could be an emergency. So what high capacity, high income earners do, because they have sat down and they have their goals, their daily goals, their weekly goals, their monthly goals, their quarterly goals, their annual goals. Generally, they don't go out more than 3 years, but they stick to the quarter system. Everything is measured. Their days are measured by a quarter. Their week is measured by a quarter. Right now, since we're filming this on a Tuesday, we're still pretty much from a Monday to Saturday schedule, depending on how we work and what our work week is. We're really just in the first quarter, or almost, depending if you have a 4-day week or a 5-day week, you could be approaching the end of the first quarter and beginning to move into the second quarter of your week. Time goes by fast. But what do? What do? They actually remind themselves of their goals. How do they do that? They do vision boards. They move themselves to a particular place in life where they have their goals in a book. They have them on the screen. They put them on the bathroom mirror. And they look at those goals every day. They write about those goals. So when the utility truck pulls up and the guys get out to do their job and they plug in the jackhammer to the compressor that they're pulling behind them, and they start making all that noise, and I'm about ready to hold a webinar, a live webinar to that fact, I have to make a decision. But what do? They remind themselves of the goal that they set, because to not have that webinar would impede me from achieving, it would be one step away, maybe not necessarily backwards, because we always think in linear terms, but it may be stepping away from my personal goals, that would impede me from achieving that webinar, that then talks to people, elicits conversation, and then what would I in turn be providing? A broken promise, and I would actually then not be able to, I would either have to hold myself a level of expectation, excuse me, into that level of expectation. Did I keep my promise? Was I a fraud? Was I not? Or is this normal behavior? Let me tell you quickly about expectations. And this is very, very powerful. And this is straight from my mentor. And one of my mentors, just absolutely, we've been associated with each other now for a little under a year now. And he asked me one day, he said, Ron, what are the two expectations in life that you should be actually thinking about? Who are the two people that you should have expectations for? And I said, well, myself, of course. And he goes, right, perfect. And what's the other one? And I said, rolled my eyes a bit. And I kind of postured myself because I really thought that I had a snazzy, snappy answer. And I said, my wife. And immediately he said, wrong. He said, you cannot have expectations for your wife. You can't have really expectations for anybody. But you can have expectations for yourself. And the only other person or people or anything that you should have expectations for other than yourself is people you pay money to, whether it's you go to a restaurant and we're celebrating and we order beautiful steaks cooked to our liking and to perfection, and it either is not correct. Now that would be a place where I would hold some other people and have some expectations, because it would be food quality, preparation, service, what have you, ambiance. So, or the person that cuts your lawn, or the contractor that you have come in and remodel your kitchen or your bathroom or what have you. But people that you pay money to, you should have expectations for. And the first person is the expectations of yourself. We make a lot of goals, but we don't know how to keep them. And the way that you're able to keep your goals and keep those and be able to align your activity with your goals, with that level of expectation, is when you build in some accountability. Let me say that again. The way that you begin to achieve your goals is when you can set those level of expectations for yourself. You have your goal, you have your expectation, and then you set in like steel girders into concrete. That's how you see buildings made. You peek through the hole in the fence and you look down, and there's citywide level of dump trucks, cement trucks lined up, pouring that foundation. That's the key right there to attaining your goals, setting the level of expectation with yourself, because generally we'll let ourselves down, but it's the accountability with others. Find yourself the level of accountability. Now, how does this all come together? How does this come together? For those that have been asking, how have you reversed your age? How have you biologically moved from being 65 years old at the biological age of 80 to now 68 years old, vibrant, and at last December, 2 weeks before Christmas in 2024, I had 105 blood tests taken of 105 different biomarkers. I'm not here to advertise that, but I'm here to tell you, or who did the blood tests. I didn't pay a ton of money, but I paid a pretty good thumbnail sketch of money to have it, because the money that I was paying for those tests far outweigh the cost to have it done by my own particular doctor. So I went to a concierge type of physician and with clinicians and did the blood draw at a local lab of their choosing that was within the area of my zip code. And we had that done. Took over a 2 week period, 105 biomarkers, one set and 105 biomarkers. They matched them up. And part of those biomarkers were your biological age. And in 2024, 2 weeks before Christmas, that test was taken. My results came in just shortly. I couldn't barely make it through the New Year's holiday, but I did. My results came in, the clinician's notes came in of 105 biomarkers. One of those was biological age. And I had reversed, at being 67 years old, I had reversed my age through blood tests to 62.7. 62.7. So we go back 2 years ago at 65 at the time, where I was on the electronic bioresonance, which really is such a fabulous device because it's able to see things at such and take that deep dive look at a cellular level to see what is going on and what is really the movement of your body at an electrical impulse level, because our bodies, believe it or not, our heart runs on electricity and our brains run on electricity. Our bodies are and function based on electricity. Everything about us is energy. So that brings me to X39, the LifeWave X39 patch. I started that 15 and a half months ago. It is as a result of that age reversal, I firmly believe, and proven once 2 years ago, because that was the baseline, set up against blood tests. And I'm really happy it was done that way, because one is a fabulous test and everybody is used to the Western medicine style of, well, it has to be done by a blood test or a urine test or something. We take a swab out of your mouth or somewhere else and we send it to a lab, or they'll do a, God forbid, they'll do a biopsy, the dermatologist, and they'll send it out to pathology, or there'll be a biopsy done by some other physician. But in this particular case, I was tested and my blood came back indicating a biological age of 62.7, which from 2 years ago until in December showed 17-year age reversal. And it was shortly after that period, when I had that performed down in Auckland, New Zealand, I started the X39, the LifeWave patch. Someone DM'd me, or they replied to my post on my Facebook business, and they asked me, what tests did you perform? As if they had never really known that you can test your body for a biological age. And so I responded back to them, and I gave them the link and provided that to them. I didn't know where they lived. I probably need to get back in touch with them. It was just a few days ago. And we've been quite busy trying to get this all up and arranged and get this video cut for you, amongst the other daily activities. But nonetheless, that's what I'm here to talk to you about. So when that combined, being in a place where I am speaking and my work is with high capacity individuals to help them achieve greater wealth, wellness, and legacy, that's really, really important. Because one, I have to walk the talk. I have to be engaged. I have to be eating healthily. I have to be getting up or going in the afternoon if my morning schedule. And I've developed that level of consistency where I can go and have that afternoon workout and do it early enough so it doesn't affect me. And with the X39 patch worn on my body, I sleep like two big dogs, and it's affected positively my sleep, my energy, my biological age, my internal collagen, my external collagen, and it's absolutely been. So, how do we do this? So, specifically today, I'm not here to talk about product. I'm not here to hype. I don't do that and I don't chase. But what I'm here today to talk to you about are individuals that want to change their life in a massive way with their own personal income and their own personal wealth strategy and their legacy. So it's about what they currently do and how you can be exposed and have an incredible business opportunity with the LifeWave X39 patch system, which is nothing more than let me grab it from over here on my desk. It's nothing more than a photobiomodulation patch. It's a little 3M medical grade patch. And you, excuse me, you put it on either on the back of your neck or two fingers below your belly button, 12 hours on and 12 hours off. And the results are phenomenal. The results can begin anywhere by the next morning after you've achieved great sleep, because as part of health and wellness on that side of the coin, the only way that you can be a high capacity, high income, achieve the kind of wealth that you want and have the kind of legacy you want is if you're healthy. No one is looking for a business opportunity when their health is in jeopardy. Nobody. You know that, and I know that. So, what I'm actually looking for right now in my world are 100 high capacity leaders. This may not be for you, it might. And I want to chat with you. If you believe of what we've talked about here today, and I've not had a chance to interact with you, so doing the video is going to be a little bit different than the interaction that we'll have if, say, we had opened the floor up here in the Zoom room to be able to have some Q&A. And so we'd be able to field some of those questions for you. But I am specifically looking for high capacity individuals that are interested in a massive shift in their income potential with the X39. And there are opportunities that are with us. And that is all going to be something that we will chat about. And it's either a yes or a no. It's not a maybe, and I'll think about it. If you've heard something here today that has really sparked your interest, both from a health and that aspect, but more importantly, because I've really keyed on the business and some mindset issues. If you're very much interested and you believe you need to have that, and again, I can't hear from you because we're having this tape. But I do want to hear from you in the DMs. I want to hear from you to say, Ron, what you said resonated with me. So if you would be so kind, once you hear this, that you will DM me and you will say back to me, Ron, I would like to schedule a time. I'd like to speak to you about how I can have and be part of an incredible business opportunity that would provide me and my family the kind of wealth that I've always dreamed about. It'll provide me the wellness that I'm currently looking for, in addition to doing and being part of those wellness aspects that I talked about. And you're interested in legacy impact. That is so important. That is so important. So I want to thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your precious time for being with us. I hope and I pray very sincerely that I will hear from you that we can actually chat further, and we can set up a Zoom call. It doesn't matter what hour of the day, in terms of depending if we're in different time zones, different parts of the world. I absolutely would love, and I'd be honored and I'd be privileged to be able to speak to you to see if this is a fit for you. But again, don't DM me if you want to think about it. If you're really leaning heavily about, once you hear all of the facts and all of the figures, um, come with that mindset. Come with that mindset that says, I really need to do this. I need to really begin to hold myself accountable, and I need to find somebody that I can be accountable to, and I can expect them in terms of expectations when I to check up on me, to say, hey, are you hitting those goals? Are you in that level? Are we together on this? You said that you wanted to be here 90 days from now. You said that you wanted to be here 6 months from now. You said you wanted to be here a year ago. What happened? And hopefully that person of accountability will be in your life a lot more than one time at the end of the year. They'll be in that groove with you, so that they will be able to help you along and to mentor you and to show you their expectations. Because the one person that will let you off the hook every time, that will let you off the hook every time, is you. You will let yourself off the hook every time. If you don't meet your expectations and there's no one to speak to about it, you'll just let it float down the river. So again, I want to thank you. I want to ask you to consider what we have talked about, because I consider all of us chatting here today, even though you'll watch this on a delay on a YouTube or out at the Gagosian group, it'll be posted, or it'll be out on the tag will be out on the Facebook business profile at thegagosiangroup.com. So for today, I want to thank you. I want to bid you a wonderful week. And from that, I will say goodbye.